Okay, so I'm Christina, and I'm the second negative, and I'm just going to comment on the workability and the disadvantages. The first problem with the new law, or the new law that they're saying, a lot of different states have that law already like implemented in their system, and let's see. Okay, for other states, it says that other states end up being like too lenient with their current three strikes law. So like in other states like Texas, they already have it so that it's like the third offense has to be a violent one to get you in jail for 25 years to life. And from a staff writer for KVUE.com, which is a Texas news station, the writer Dave Felling, he said, this brings us back to Marshall Tyler, and he was a guy that ended up actually like almost running over a different guy in Texas, who already had kind of like a really big report, like a rap sheet. And he said that there are entries for burglary of a vehicle, possession of a weapon, and auto theft all in his rap sheet, and it has 34 entries, but only once for the possession of a weapon charge did he receive time in state prison. And his other sentences were all served in state or county jail, so when he nearly like ran over the guy, he technically only had one strike against him. And then other states also have higher incarceration rates than California. So if we ended up implementing that law, we might end up like all the other states who actually have higher incarceration rates. And I got a quote from Jessica Riordan, for a writer for the Pew Center on the States, and she said that Texas surpassed California as the nation's prison leader following a decline in both states' inmate populations. So 10 states, meanwhile, experienced a jump in inmate population growth of 5% or greater, a list topped by Kentucky with a surge of 12%. So California is not really the only one that has a high incarceration rate. And then another one for the workability argument is that having the current one, it actually deters crime and it provides like an incapacitation effect. So if it deters crime, the one that we have right now, it it makes criminals not really want to commit those crimes because they don't want to get sent away for life. So I have a quote from Naomi Harlan, and she wrote a paper called Career Criminals Targeted in 2002, and she said that in one survey, a majority of juvenile offenders said that if they had known that they would receive 25 years to life in prison, they wouldn't commit a serious or violent crime. So it really proves like effective in deterring crime. And then it also, the current three strikes law provides an incapacitation effect. So she also wrote that inmates who are strikers have more serious criminal histories than non-strikers. So while this might seem obvious in that the three-strike law is aimed at habitual offenders, this fact is important because it again shows us that the law is doing what it should. So yeah, you shouldn't really like overlook that fact. You should know that it really does deter crime, even though it's like really common sense. And then off the Ewing case that my colleague mentioned, he said that Ewing versus California, his case was for burglarizing, for shoplifting in Kmart. And it says on October 1st, 1993, while Proposition 184 was circulating, 12-year-old Polly Klaas was kidnapped from her home in Petaluma, California. So that's what he was talking about, how the whole three strikes law originated. That was the girl's name. And then her admitted killer, Richard Allen Davis, had a long criminal history that included 2 prior kidnapping convictions, and he only served half of his most recent sentence. So had he served his entire sentence, he would have still been in prison the day that Polly was kidnapped. So it just kind of shows that that like if they are in prison, then they don't really have they can't really commit crimes if they're in prison. So and also the affirmative side doesn't take into account that actually 95% of convicts have previously committed multiple violent acts. So although the last strike might be a violent act, this is still like a habitual violent criminal. And although that third strike may not be like a violent act, they still have committed violent crimes, and they still are capable of committing violent crimes. So that's why that they should be in jail, and that's why that the other law wouldn't work.
4 minutes now.